Hello, I'm going to give you this video series to answer your problems about Transcribe College and how to decide to continue there and things you can know about it. So here you go. Let's start with the introduction. First of all, there's a start for everything. When you get started anywhere, in a health career, you're going to need to get orientated. You're going to need to know what's going on. And so just rely on the concept that you get an introduction. It's a really good idea. You'll know what you're doing, you'll know how you're doing it, when you're doing it, how often, that kind of thing, who you're doing it with. Just kind of get started in a way where you know what's going on. Okay, so for that you can look at the different parts of the website. You can also look at the program details, learn about tuition, requirements, ask questions, you can call them, lots of stuff, okay? And then when you get to the introduction, you'll see what they mean an introduction is. Okay, so for now, I'm going to give you my own introduction. So first of all, I graduated from Transcribe Career College with a medical transcription certificate and a certification in medical transcription and healthcare documentation. So Transcription Career College is in Kelowna, BC, and they're a remote college that has their main office there. They've been really good, and I loved working with them. I found that after a degree, in English literature, which I graduated from in 2013, that they were the program, the Transcribe was the program that got my writing to the next level. And I didn't do that in my literature degree because they didn't focus on grammar that much. So if you want to write, it's actually better to take a writing course, a writing class, a writing program. So this is a particular writing program for medical writing. And if you want to know about documentation, starting with writing is a really good choice. So it takes a year or less because you can do this in your own time. But for me, I would bank at my time at 3.5 hours a day, okay, for a year, 52 weeks, and that's 7 days a week, okay? So let's see here. What do we want? We want relevancy, right? Because we want things that are going to be relevant. We want things that are going to be happening once we get to a team where we get paid. How do I get paid money? We want skills. We get paid money with skills. Okay, but we also need to join the team. Workforce. Okay, and confidence means, well, you've done it. If you've already done it, then you know you can do it. All right. How do you increase your confidence when your requirement is, for example, to get 98.5% accuracy all day long on technical documents for the first time? Just getting used to it. Well, you need to learn to automate your decisions, which you can do on your own. You just get introduced to this program, but it's something like learn how to use dictionaries in ways where you don't have to look, and then you're on the correct, language type and things like that. Okay, things like, am I in British or American English? If you know that, then you can automate those choices, you see. You increase your confidence. Learn what is a bad mark, and how do you automate your decisions so you know that you have a good mark when you're done. That's accuracy. Okay, so so you need to get started. So basically they provide knowledge. Okay, you can go to them and get knowledge. What's knowledge? Let's take a look. First of all, what's knowledge is, do you have a method? Do you have a group that knows, something in the market where you can communicate with each other and other partners in the market or people in the market, and then get paid? You can trade time for money. Okay, and then if you found that, who does those things? So you can be like, okay, who's the market? Where's the market? Who's involved? Organizations, individuals, what's going on? Are your household ready to pay with your time? That kind of thing. And then who do you go to for the right information? I mean, if supposing everything's correct and true, what's the difference between British and US grammar anyway? You need to decide which which one are you using? Can you do it in English? But like, which English? So, just get oriented to stuff and keep happening. Support. Why support? Well, support's not the dream of a 4.0. What is the dream of the 4.0? The dream is that the more you work, the more you do things with people, the more you get, and you don't have to do those things as much. So support is something like, don't get any, you're fine. But then it's like, if you can't, then go for support. Okay. And by the way, they have excellent support. I brought my writing quality up very much with them. I like what they did with me. Okay, trained. Yeah, use a model where you agree to a standard without really knowing the meaning, and you do things about them until you try it in the market. So you do. See what you got. And they're a popular one. So popularity is important. How many of them got jobs, or how many people graduated, or how many students graduate per year. What is your success rate? That kind of thing. So they actually have a really high success rate, which is good. Okay, most educational institutions will try to pass all the students. The problem is, if they don't pass, then they simply are not possibly going to do anything about those things again, because it's too hard for them, or it's not something they can orientate to now. And they probably don't want to come back for more, except they might. So what happens is people don't win sometimes, and then they fail. And that's starting to get more complicated than they just can't orientate themselves to it now. Okay. What do I think of failure? Well, I'm not. I'm thinking of, don't fail yourself, because you're going to pass yourself. When you get started, you're going to want to do things about that. So why do you want to get trained? Because you want a team. Okay, you already won because you're getting started. So just keep winning. Agree. And get used to it. Okay, next is our strong industry connections. Yes, they have very strong industry connections. They are going to get you a job right away. And the reason why is that once you graduate, they'll give you opportunity to connect to their employers right away. And their employers waive up to 2 years of experience requirements for having gone to them. And they have a specific, they have specifically set aside time, with them that they know can scribe. And so when you apply, they've done their homework, they know them, and you'll get a call back. Okay, very cool. Don't waste those connections. Just when you're ready, apply, choose which one you want, and get started right away. Okay, so they have a history. You can read that. Mission statement. I like them. Very much nice place. Very much like a family. So for me, I really went with them. Memberships. Okay, so they PTIRU. You're going to learn these as you go through, and over your career, these will come back. There are different groups, organizations that are really necessary in any career, and so for medical and medical writing, you're going to find different groups that are important. Okay, so when you learn different requirements for compliancy, whether it's the documentation or for the clinical side, or different things that are going to be happening for information and privacy and such, then you'll see who you need to meet and for what. If you want to do more training or certifications, where you go, that kind of thing. Okay. All right. So that I think is a good orientation. They have different disciplines you can study from. So I want to look at the Faculty of Health Sciences, specifically documentation. And some of the stuff overlaps a little bit. Like if you graduate from documentation, you could also be a virtual scribe. But if you want to be a virtual scribe, then maybe come to the virtual scribe course more directly. Okay. The difference is sometimes something is obviously as transcription. You can be a transcriptionist. You can, take audio files or live files and reduce them to documents. or you could fix documents, inspect them, make sure they're okay and stuff. So you could work in like editing, or if you want to do things in electronic medical records, working documentation and transcription is going to be a really good idea, because as you work, you'll be seeing tons of medical records, especially remotely, electronically, etc. So, okay. Again, save 52 weeks aside for this. So set it aside. You got 52 weeks ahead of you once you start at 3.5 hours a day, and you can do it at your own time, as many hours as you want. It's something like less than 1,200-ish or something like that, around 1,200-ish, or just 1,000 hours. I'm just going to quickly count what I did for it, but 2.5 times 7, so per week, times 2, so about 1,274 hours. Okay. What is healthcare documentation? Well, you're going to be a specialist. What do you do? These were documents. And what kind of documents? Healthcare documents. Okay, so jobs with medical words in them. And you're going to edit documents. Okay, you're going to render them. Okay, render, it would be something like, rendering has many meanings, but here I would be like, you're going to write them down, write documents for specialists who set things in audios, or do things with different files, or resources that become documents, or do things with different documents that are becoming new documents. You're making documents, you're writing words, and you're using words that are already written to do that. You're using voices to do that. Some sort of recording, different resources. Okay, so and we want electronic. Electronic's cheapest. When you have a paper copy, you'll need a second one. It costs so much money. You got to get copies made and all that. So we try to keep everything electronic. Okay, so this goes back to the original principle. Electronic is most cheap, and then other things cost more money. So when you need to know the order you do things in, it's electronic. So why not learn electronically? Right? Why not learn remotely? There are some cool things you can do when you run it in brick and mortar, but again, for these purposes, this will get you a job. Okay. Can you graduate faster? Yes, you can. Okay. So, do you love doing those things? Well, these are things you need to ask. You need to watch these videos. You need to find people. Do they love it? What do they love about it? So, kind of connect with people to see if you can love it too, and do those things with them. Okay. I hope that helps. I'm going to make another video on computer fundamentals. Okay? Thank you very much, and take care.